Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show.
Welcome one and all to another episode of the Everything is Bad New Fangled Motion Picture Show. I'm Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And we're your hosts for the evening or morning or whenever you're listening to this.
That's the beauty of the internet.
Now, you might be asking yourself, wow, Niall's real shot out of a cannon on this, isn't he? And the answer, or the reason for that is, we finally got some movies. It's been 4 weeks since last time we went to the movie theater.
It's been a few anyway, yeah.
Three or 4 weeks, and that's just unacceptable. We're starting to get the shakes, you know.
Yep. We had 2 movies this weekend.
Yep. So first we saw Rambo: Last Blood. Now you might be asking yourself, wait, I thought the last Rambo movie ended the series in a very satisfactory way. Well, I thought so too. Well, we'll get into that. First, we got to do some housekeeping. Normal rules for the New Fangled Motion Picture Show, where we do a spoiler-free review of the movie, and then we give you a spoiler warning, and we go more in-depth into it after that. So, without further ado, boy howdy, this movie is overrated on IMDb. It's got a 7 out of 10 stars. I would give it a 3. Solid 3 stars, personally.
Yeah, it's
not good.
It's not great, no.
So,
all right, so let's start off here. First, they carded us before we bought the tickets, and then they carded us going in, and we're like, "That's new."
I haven't been carded for a movie since 300.
Yeah, and I know why. This movie's brutal.
Oh yeah.
I'm not knocking it for that though. That's the biggest redeeming quality is the brutality. Yeah, it's a brutal movie, but this movie feels like, we were discussing this, that it feels like they took a non-related script and modified it to be a Rambo movie.
Yep. And I mean, especially because if you saw the last Rambo movie, was that John Rambo?
It was just called Rambo.
It was just called Rambo. So that movie,
it ended with Rambo going home.
Yeah,
he hadn't been home since he left for Vietnam.
It was like, yeah, Rambo, you deserve this. You can go home.
He hadn't been home for 50 years or whatever. Go home,
right? Be calm, try to get away from all this mayhem and whatnot, and you deserve it, man. And then it felt like it was a good ending to the series, I thought.
Yeah.
Also, that movie was a satisfactory action movie on top of that. And this movie's not. Like, it's like, okay, you can knock the plot of a Rambo movie. That's easy enough to do. The second and third movies, not great. But they're all good action movies. Like, you just want, like, mindless action movie? They're all pretty good for that. Except this one.
Yeah, like...
Stallone's old.
It literally feels like they had a script, and the studio's like, well, I don't think this movie's good enough to sell tickets on its own. What IP could we attach it to? And then they went to Stallone and like, can you adapt this into Rambo? Because he has a writing credit, but I feel like his writing credit is basically taking a non-related script and adapting it into a Rambo script.
Yeah. And if that's not the case, sorry, Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, I mean, you wrote Rocky. What happened?
Yeah, seriously. So... how much of this plot can we tell without it being a spoiler? Can we tell like what gets him going down the path of destruction?
Basically,
I mean, it's the first 10 minutes of the movie.
So a lot happens between the end of the previous one and this one. It's been 10 years or something like that.
Yeah, so he's got a niece that lives with him on his ranch in Arizona.
Yeah. Something happens to her. He goes and gets revenge, and then those bad guys come to get revenge on him. And so most of what you see in the trailer is the bad guys coming to get revenge on him.
Yeah. Like, he goes to a location and spends, I don't know, maybe a half or a third of the movie in this location.
Yeah, the movie's pretty short. It's only like an hour and a half.
It's not even. It's an hour and 29 minutes according to IMDb.
So yeah, under an hour and a half. It's not a very long movie.
Yeah, and so like maybe half the movie he spends in this location that I had zero inkling he went to at all from the trailers.
Yeah.
So, and we'll get into that in the spoiler part. But yeah, it's just the plot's like all over the place.
Stallone is the best actor in this movie. Not knocking Stallone, he's a decent enough actor.
But
he
he's
got
really,
an Oscar nomination.
He's really phoning it in this movie.
But he's phoning it in, and he's still better than almost everyone else in the movie.
Yeah. There's this scene where there's this young woman opposite him, like across a table. It's like a close in, very claustrophobic sort of scene, and it's rough.
He's got this look like, how did you get into this movie?
Yeah.
Did they just pull you off the street a minute ago?
Oh, it's a rough scene, man. It's just, whew. We'll get more into that in the spoiler part, but yeah, and then I don't think it's a spoiler because we find out about this at like 2 minutes in the movie, but Stallone has a tunnel complex.
Well, that's in the trailer.
Oh yeah, so he's got this tunnel complex like under his ranch house in Arizona, which impressive if you can dig tunnels in Arizona.
Yeah.
Much of the Southwest has real hard packed caliche that's like right under the topsoil.
But he has a very extensive tunnel network that he dug himself.
I mean, he lays a bunch of traps in it at the end. I don't think that's spoiling because that's in the trailer. But it's just this really sprawling tunnel complex, and you're just like, how the hell did he do this? And there's no explanation as to why. It's never like my crazy uncle, he's so worried about
everyone in his life, the two people in his life, they just accept it.
Yeah, no one's like, my crazy Uncle John and his, he's worried the VC are gonna come for him, so he's dug a tunnel. It's just he has a tunnel because they wanted a tunnel set piece.
Yeah,
that's basically it. So yeah, it's I don't recommend spending money to go see this in theater. I really don't.
No.
And we see a lot of movies that are not great, but we're perfectly fine paying money to go see. This was just.
If you're really interested in this, wait till it's on Netflix or something.
Yep.
But yeah, I can't recommend this movie.
Nope. So, spoiler part?
Yeah.
All right, spoiler warning. Yeah, so a lot of this movie takes place in Mexico.
Most of the movie takes place in Mexico.
I had no idea they went to Mexico in the trailer.
So basically, his niece, presumably his sister's daughter, that he's been raising since his sister died, and
her deadbeat father,
the girl's deadbeat father, went back to Mexico, where he's from. So his niece has decided, she's 18 now, she's about to go off to college, and she says, I want to go find my father and ask him why he walked out on me. And
everyone in her life is saying it's because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's because he's a piece of shit. So that's why don't go. But she goes anyway, and she winds up getting nabbed and by some cartel and forced to be a prostitute. And so Rambo goes looking for her. And he gets her back. There's a whole thing where he gets his ass kicked by the cartel, but then this journalist who's been trying to investigate them helps him out, and then he goes back, gets the girl, but then she dies because they've been shooting her up with heroin, and so she overdoses and dies. So then he goes and gets his revenge and kills. The cartel's run by two brothers. He kills one of them, but he knows the other's going to come for him, so he goes back to his ranch and prepares the traps. So when they show up, and he's got landmines blowing up their vehicles on the way in, and a wall of fire because he digs a trench and fills it with gasoline, and then
he somehow has a claymore.
Yeah, he has got a claymore.
I'm more curious about how he got his hands on a freaking claymore than just about anything else.
Yeah. So anyway, he kills all these guys, and it's fairly satisfying the way he does it. And then in the end, he literally tears this dude's heart out.
Oh, and it's like beating in his hands still.
For a second, yeah.
Like Temple of Doom. And I mean, like he cuts the dude he cuts the dude's rib cage open with a knife.
I don't know how that's
from the front.
That's tough.
Like from sternum down, and then reaches through the bones and pulls out the beating heart. Oh, and at one point he stabs a guy, dislocates his collarbone by reaching in and snapping it with his fingers and pulling it through the skin.
Yeah, that was earlier in the movie when he's trying to find out where the cartel was at.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the movie's actually spent in Mexico with him looking for his niece and trying to get her back, and then getting revenge on these guys. But he, during the whole fight, he took a few bullets and he kills them all, and then he goes and sits down on his porch and dies.
Like, bleeds out.
And bleeds out. I mean, the only way it could have been worse if he was like, I drew last blood.
Whew. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the movie's mercifully short.
Yeah. So I'm just like looking at the credits for these other people in the movie. They're all like, 10 to 14 credits, most of which are like TV series you've never heard of, or one episode parts in NCIS.
You may have heard of Paz Vega.
Yeah.
Who's this other? She's a decent actress too. She's an alright actress, but
yeah, she was decent enough in this.
She's been a lot of Spanish language stuff, but she's been in a few American movies too. Did we see Kill the Messenger? Is that the movie I'm thinking of with Jeremy Renner? Yeah, we did see Kill the Messenger.
Yes, yeah, we saw that. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, so she's, a fairly well-known actress, but everyone else is like nobody, and it shows.
Yeah, so there's this scene. So
the two cartel guy leads, they're all right too.
Well, most of the time they're screaming in Spanish, so to us, I don't know if we really noticed that much anyway.
That's true.
So his niece's friend who moved to Mexico, who
it's like the most chola.
Yeah,
oh God.
She's just like
She's got a flannel shirt, like top buttoned and everything else unbuttoned.
The most stereotypical, the most stereotypical female Mexican.
Like that
you could
hair
imagine.
pulled up on the top of her head with like that.
Yeah, and so she helped track down the niece's father, and so the niece, what's her character's name? Gabrielle. So she goes down to meet her friend. Her friend is Giselle. And so Giselle sells out Gabrielle to the cartel, and they roofie her at a bar and kidnap her and whatnot. And so Rambo goes down, and he knows that Gabrielle was going to see Giselle, and so he has this he intimidates her in her kitchen and has this scene and
threatens to beat her up.
Yeah, and her acting is just bad. I mean, it's so overacted.
Yeah.
There's just this one shot where Stallone just has this look on his face like, "Oh my God, is this the best we could get?"
Yeah.
It's rough. It is a really rough scene to watch. I mean, I think that was probably the worst scene in the movie.
Probably, yeah.
So,
or the scene where, or the two of them together in her house too. Giselle and Gabrielle.
That's also real cringy. With just how poorly acted that is.
Yvette Monreal, right? That's the actress. Gabrielle.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So she's not great either. She's better than Giselle, her friend, but she's not great either.
Vanessa Pineda.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't see this. I'm in the camp at current to ignore this. This doesn't exist in the canon. Rambo went home to his ranch and lived a happily ever after.
Yeah.
Because he deserves it, man. Also, the other movies deal a lot with Rambo's PTSD and Nam flashbacks and stuff.
This touches on it.
I mean, it's just
but it's almost inconsequential.
Yeah. Which again lends credence to the idea that this was not a Rambo script to begin with.
Right. There's a moment where he has a flashback. Maybe when he's running through the tunnels or something. It's weird that someone, like, he would dig these tunnels and then, like, there's, like, a flashback of him, like, entering a tunnel.
Or at least, like, blowing a tunnel or something.
Blowing a tunnel, and it's like... It's... I don't know, it's just... It's weird that a Vietnam vet would dig tunnels like the VC did.
I mean, he didn't dig it like the VC did. You could stand up in these tunnels.
That's true, but I mean, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying. It did feel weird.
And he had like a blacksmith forge down there where he's like...
Oh, that would get so hot. It would be so hot in those tunnels because he wouldn't have anywhere to go.
Well, there was like air, like there were holes in the ceiling, like still, to the daylight. Man. Right, you can see like daylight coming down.
Maybe, but even still, I mean, it's like that. It's like in Skyrim in the Hearthstone expansion when you can put that forge in your basement. The forge and the smelter, and I'm just like, no, no, your house would burn down and you'd suffocate to death in the basement. But anyway, so I think I've said enough about Rambo: Last Blood. I vote we stop talking about it.
Yeah.
So our the next movie we're going to review, which we also saw this weekend, is Ad Astra.
Yep.
So, which was a better movie, but we'll get into that in our actual review. That's probably going to go up the day after this one does, probably.
Yeah.
All right. So, other than Ad Astra, what's the next movie we're going to see, Nolan?
I don't know. Joker?
Yep.
Which I'm
actually kind of excited for.
Yeah, I'm excited for, especially because they've released reviews of it so early. Usually that's a good sign. They're confident in it. Usually it's a good sign that it's, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
The fact they released them I was surprised how early. It was like a month.
Yeah.
Early. So
yeah, we've got...
So there's plenty of reviews out there already, but I haven't watched any of them.
Yeah, so we've got Joker.
But I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it looks really good. Then we're probably going to see Gemini Man. It doesn't look great.
Yeah, probably not going to see Addams Family. I was excited when they announced it, then I saw those trailers and I'm like, it just looks meh.
Yep. Then Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, Zombieland, and Jojo Rabbit all come out on the same weekend.
Yep. That's a lot.
Let's see. And probably gonna see... Is there nothing in the last week of October that we were down for? Nope. Nope, not seeing anything. Yeah, but then we get into Terminator Dark Fate, which looks pretty cool, I think, for just even for just an action movie viewpoint. Oh yeah, we've been seeing the ads for Motherless Brooklyn. Have you seen ads for that?
No.
With Edward Norton and Bruce Willis and their 1950s New York gangsters or something.
I haven't seen that.
Or let's say a private detective with Tourette's syndrome ventures to solve a murder. That's what it is. Yeah, I mean the cast is enough to get me interested, but the setting is enough to get me to buy a ticket. And then
you're gonna see Midway?
Yeah, we're gonna see it. We're probably gonna take our dad to see Midway. Because he's a huge fan of In Harm's Way. And it's just sort of, the World War II naval genre of movies that you just don't see anymore. Charlie's Angels looks terrible, but we will see Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, that looks good.
So yeah, we start getting into the holiday movie season. So we got Frozen 2 and Knives Out at the end of November as well. Star Wars is somewhere there in December, as well as the Jumanji sequel. You gonna see Cats?
No.
It looks so bad.
1917.
1917. We're gonna see it though too, and that pretty much rounds out the year for us. So that's what we got reviews coming up for. So I don't think we go more than 1 week without, or more. Yeah, I don't think we go more than one weekend without a movie. through the end of the year. Thank goodness. Because it's been a rough month, man. Like, last month has just been jonesing for an excuse to eat popcorn and no beef corn this weekend.
No, I think they cleaned their popcorn maker.
Something. So yeah, if any of that sounds interesting to you, hit that bell or subscribe or whatever people do on YouTube these days. Like the video, dislike the video, I don't care. Comment on it. It all shows up in an email at the end of the month for us. And then check out our other reviews. What was the last one we did?
I
feel like it was for a better movie than this.
probably was. Oh, it was Ready or Not.
Ready or Not? Oh yeah, that was a weird. That movie took a weird turn. But anyway, yeah. So check out the Ready or Not trailer, and if it's still in theaters, see that movie instead of Rambo.
Yeah, it's a better movie.
Not at all the same kind of movie, but you know.
No.
So yeah. Anything else, Dad?
No, that's it.
Don't see Rambo. Until next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Toodles.